Trump transition officials slamming Senate Democrats for trying to slow walk the confirmation process of Trump cabinet nominees. Incoming White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer says the Democrats are obstructing.
I think that you send a very, very bad signal to the rest of the world when you show that you want to slow down this kind of transfer of power.
Congressman Mark Meadows, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, joins us here. Also tonight, nearly a third of Democrats say they'll boycott Friday's inauguration. Mr. Trump, not concerned at all. He says, however, Congressman John Lewis needs to stop being so divisive.
We're off to a bad start. There's no question about it. What he did was a very, very bad thing. Not for me. For me, it doesn't matter. He did a bad thing for the country. Very, very divisive. We have a divided country. And it's not divided because of me. It's been divided.
David Horowitz, Tony Sayegh, and Randy Evans join us here tonight. President Obama sparking more controversy, commuting Chelsea Manning's prison sentence.
To commute Private Manning's sentence was a mistake. Private Manning is a traitor and should not have been turned into a martyr, as Senator Cotton said.
And tonight I'll have a few thoughts on the end of the Obama era. Good evening, everybody. The Senate today holding confirmation hearings on 4 of the president-elect's cabinet nominees, and among them Congressman Tom Price, who will be, if confirmed, Secretary of Health and Human Services. The congressman came under close questioning over his financial investments.
I'm just asking, did you buy the stock, and then did you introduce a bill that would be helpful to the companies you just bought stock in?
The stock was bought by a broker who was making those decisions. I wasn't making those decisions.
These are your stock trades, though. They are listed under your name, right?
Which still would not be the same thing, of course. Price reported that transaction over which Elizabeth Warren is so exercised as soon as he learned about it. And he stands to make an estimated $300 as a result of that transaction. But that relative pittance set off Senator Warren, obviously. She also, by the way, failed to mention something, that she is invested in banks and mutual funds that trade health care and pharmaceutical stocks. The Senate Armed Services Committee also voting today, 26-1 to confirm General James Mattis to be Secretary of Defense. The general is the only cabinet choice now cleared for a full Senate vote by Friday, Inauguration Day. Mr. Trump will be taking office without most of his cabinet in place because of Democratic delays and Democratic obstruction, a break from tradition and the congressional role to provide advice and consent on presidential appointments. Listen to Senator Charles Schumer today.
This is a swamp cabinet full of bankers and billionaires. Many of them have hard-right views, some of which directly contradict promises that the president-elect campaigned on. Now, it's no surprise Republicans are trying to rush through these hearings. They don't want people to know the true views of their nominees.
Schumer has obviously set upon leading a strategy of delay and obstruction and outright hostility toward the Trump presidency. Schumer was not only voicing his displeasure with a number of the nominees, but today he warned that if Democrats believe Republicans are rushing the confirmation process, as he put it, he will use parliamentary tactics to force extensive debate on the floor, which would cause only further delay. Trump's nominees are also being subjected to rigorous vetting by an obscure federal agency on ethics issues. 8 years ago, the Senate confirmed 7 cabinet-level nominees the day in which Barack Obama was inaugurated. George W. Bush and 7 of his cabinet picks also confirmed on his inauguration day. And when Bill Clinton was sworn into office, every single member of his cabinet but one was confirmed by the Senate within 2 days. We are in a different place. Joining me now to discuss Democratic obstructionism, the road ahead, what the Republican Party that controls both the Senate and the House will be doing, and how they'll implement the Trump agenda, the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, Congressman Mark Meadows. And Congressman, it is great to have you with us. This looks like a very serious impasse in which we find ourselves. Schumer looks like he is running a foreign power, not the Democratic conference in the Senate.
Well, it's taking away from the real substance of the nominees, which are outstanding. You know, you mentioned Dr. Tom Price, and I can tell you that there's not a finer man that understands health care better than really anyone on Capitol Hill, not only as a physician, but as a policymaker. And so it's time that we put aside the partisan attacks and confirm some of these nominees.
I'll be honest with you, if we're sitting down to tea, that'd be a great attitude. You're in a war. And
well,
obviously Schumer is fighting a war. It's an ideological war. It is a nasty and brutal way to begin a presidency, but so be it. If anybody can handle it, it is certainly Donald Trump. But he's going to need some troops that are not willing to put up with this kind of nonsense.
Well, and I'm one of those. I'm willing to call it out, Lou, and what you're mentioning there is it's all about
the president-elect said. Totally biased. NBC News went out of its way to say the big announcement from Ford, General Motors, Lockheed, and others that jobs are coming back to the United States but had nothing to do with Trump is more fake news. Ask top CEOs of those companies for real facts. Came back because of me. And no wonder the Today Show unbiased NBC is doing so badly compared to its glorious past. Little credibility. A stunning presentation by any definition by the Today Show and its legal correspondent holding forth on business issues. Very impressive. Joining me now, Randy Evans, partner with Denton's law firm, former chairman of the Republican National Lawyers Association. Good to have you with us, Randy.
Lou, good to be here.
That fellow a member of your association by any chance? They're talking.
No, I don't. I don't think he is, because I think he's completely divorced from reality.
Man.
Just once, I'd like to have one of these guys on a morning show go to a Target, go to a Kroger, go anywhere, talk to real Americans about how optimistic they are about the future, how they're buying goods, how they're now optimistic about having a job. They just don't even get it, and it's the reason why they've lost so much credibility. They're just divorced from reality.
You know, there's no question they've lost credibility, but they've also lost honor. I mean, what Matt Lauer and that fellow just did was distort reality and deny truth. And it's just that simple. And I can't believe it. Matt Lauer doing that, I don't know the lawyer fellow, but I can tell you that he's upside down. Basically, he was implying that Donald Trump takes credit once he hears there's an announcement by General Motors or Ford or Carrier. I mean, it's bizarre, the ways in which our national left-wing media, they're twisting themselves into knots because Donald Trump is actually doing things before he's even sworn into office.
Well, I think there's another explanation. They're delusional. They actually don't understand how the real world works. It's the reason why they can't understand how a cabinet full of winners will produce winning.
Can I say something to you? You know, you may be right about that. I will accede to that, Randy. I'm certainly, you know, the delusional part.
I know I know that you're reticent to agree with a lawyer.
No, I'm always reticent to not take note of the facts, and I truly believe that these people are. I think they're being malevolent. I think there is nothing accidental. You have to work to distort truth the way, for example, some of these networks, including NBC, their news division, as well as Matt Lauer is no newsman, and the Today Show is no news broadcast. But when you get into reality, there is some purchase to the idea of being factual.
Lou, I will concede to you that there are some members of the media that are deliberately dishonest because they know the truth. They know the truth because they've been told the truth. They see the data. They hear the words from people saying we're keeping jobs here because of Donald Trump. And notwithstanding knowing the truth, they say the opposite. So I'll give you that point. But I think that there's a far greater group that actually just has no idea of what the real world is.
You have a generous heart and nature that makes me feel small and somehow petty in this matter. But the truth is, I happen to just be chagrined at what is happening, because Donald Trump, I've seen him fight the national left-wing media, the Republican Party establishment, the Democrats, the left-wingers, the crazy, Bernie Sanders, who today has decided he is the arbiter of all things decent. I mean, this thing gets plumb nuts. And then to have the national left-wing media playing these games is so objectionable. Because it really says something, Randy, and the Republicans, and you as a Republican leader. I mean, this is a fight. This is a battle. This is a war. This isn't about the loyal opposition. This is, I believe, tooth and tongue all the way through.
No, I completely agree. It's a politics of personal destruction versus a politics of merit. We want to fight on merit. They want to fight on personal destruction. But they've learned nothing in 8 years. 8 years ago, in a partisan way, they pushed through Obamacare. Well, now, 8 years later, you have 60 Democrats boycotting the inauguration,